Hello super friends and welcome to DCTV TALK, and in today's episode we're going to be breaking down and going through everything that you need to know about the Elseworlds crossover, so let's discuss. So thanks to our good friend Stephen and Mel, we now know that most of the principal photography for the Elseworlds crossover has now been completed, so pretty much everything that we've received in regards to set photos and things of that nature have pretty much given us everything that we need to know about the upcoming Elseworlds crossover. So that's what I'm going to break down today. This one might be a bit long, this may be a bit, a bit talkative, but this is going to, involve quite a lot of key information involving this crossover, and also I do apologise if I missed out anything. Obviously there is so much to talk about when it comes to the Elseworlds crossover, so I apologise if anything kind of slipped through the cracks, but with all that said, let's jump into it. So on a surface level, what should you know about the Elseworlds crossover? Well, the Elseworlds crossover is now going to be a 3-night crossover this year, which is the first 3-night crossover they've ever done, and it's going to take place on Sunday the 9th of December, starting with The Flash, then on Monday the 10th with Arrow, and then finishing on Tuesday the 11th with Supergirl. So if you've noticed, Supergirl and The Flash are actually going to be swapping days for that week, so obviously The Flash is typically on Tuesdays, Supergirl is typically on Sundays, but for this particular crossover they are going to be switching days. I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's a particular reason they're doing that. I don't know if it's to keep, the shows in the same sort of continuity, or if it's because maybe Supergirl has such a prominent sort of purpose in the last episode of the crossover. I don't know why they're doing it, but it's interesting nonetheless. But I mean, they did this with Arrow in Crisis on Earth X. They moved Arrow to Monday for that week, so this isn't unprecedented. They've done this before, so yeah, it's going to be on Tuesday the 9th with The Flash, Monday the 10th with Arrow, and then Tuesday the 11th with Supergirl. And probably one of the biggest things to come out of this crossover is that we are going to be introduced to Kate Kane, otherwise known as Batwoman. This is going to be our first introduction to a member of the Bat family within the Arrowverse, and she is going to be played by Ruby Rose, who you may know from shows such as Orange is the New Black and recent movies like The Meg. She is a pretty big actress these days, and she is going to be taking up the mantle of Batwoman. Now, I've been very vocal in the past about my opinion on this. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of Ruby Rose. I think this was a pretty poor casting choice in my opinion, but I'm still leaving open to be desired. I'm still hoping that she's able to impress me, and based on what we've seen, if you look at these official photos, when you look at the set photos that we've had from people like Melissa Benoist, there are some really awesome things, and the suit looks amazing. The suit looks so dead on comic accurate. It's a really nice suit, really upper tech in terms of the CW. It's really pretty much better than a lot of the other suits we've seen, and I think it's just a really awesome suit. My only concern with Batwoman is, like I say, the casting. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm still open to be surprised. Hopefully I will be surprised, but Batwoman is going to be introduced in this crossover, which is huge news. Also, for the first time since their conception, the Legends of Tomorrow will not be a part of this crossover. They are going to be taking this one out, so basically they are not going to be anywhere near them. They're not going to be involved in the story. None of the characters are going to be in it, so that's a real shame. I think it's a really disappointing that the Legends are not going to be a part of it, because I think the Legends are some of the strongest cast members we have within the Arrowverse, and also because they provide a lot of fun and contrast to some of the other characters, especially because we always get some great interactions between Oliver and Sarah. It'd be really awesome to see Constantine this year, because obviously Constantine is a main member on Legends this year. It'd be nice to see him kind of interact with other characters, maybe have a rekindling with Oliver as well. There's just some really awesome opportunities that you can get with the Legends being in the crossover, but they're sitting it out this year. I guess it just didn't fit in with what they had planned for season 4, so they didn't want to, maybe take the time out in order to do this, and they wanted to focus on other stuff. Although rumor has it that the Legends of Tomorrow is going to be having their own sort of crossover this year, sort of a bit more of a self-contained one just to Legends. What that means is yet to be seen, but Legends of Tomorrow are going to be missing out on Elseworlds. So just before filming began, we got our official first look at the poster for Elseworlds, and obviously I made a video about this the day this came out, absolutely losing my mind about it, about how excited I was. As you can see by this poster, you can see Grant Gustin, who plays the Flash, in the Green Arrow costume, and Stephen Amell, who of course plays the Green Arrow, in the Flash costume. This absolutely blew my mind, because this is something I've always wanted to see them do, is do like a costume swap, and obviously we don't know the context of it yet, but I still think this is just a fantastic idea, and this poster was really cool. And obviously they released this just before they started filming, because obviously they're going to be filming outdoors for a lot of this, hence why we've gotten so many set photos for this. So when you look at this, to some of these set photos that you're seeing on screen now, you can see Stephen Amell looking really great in that Flash costume. costume. This is the Season 5 brand new Flash costume that we've been seeing this season on The Flash. And you can also see Grant Gustin also looking epic in the Green Arrow suit as well. So there's a lot of really awesome stuff going on here. I'm loving these set photos. I think they're fantastic. You know, really high quality stuff as well. And they just tease some really exciting scenes that we could be getting. And I'm just waiting to see the context. You know, what is going on here? Is Oliver Queen the Flash and Barry Allen is the Green Arrow? Or is Stephen Amell playing Barry Allen and Grant Gustin is playing Oliver Queen? We don't quite know what the context is yet, but I'm so excited to find out. And like I said, this idea and this concept is genius to me, and I can't wait to see how they execute it. And one of the more surprising pieces of news we got receiving the Elseworlds crossover is in regards to John Wesley Shipp, who you all know for playing Henry Allen and also for playing Jay Garrick on The Flash. He is going to be coming into this crossover as the 90s Flash. So if you don't know John Wesley Shipp, he played The Flash in the 90s, in the 90s Flash TV series. He's going to be returning in that role for this crossover. I did not expect this at all. This was the last thing I expected going into this crossover, but I think this is amazing. The fact that they have the freedom and the availability to do this, and the fact they're actually, you know, making use of that opportunity to bring in John Wesley Shipp as the 90s Flash, you know, in the original costume and everything like that, is so exciting. I can't wait to see what they do with him, how many episodes he's going to be in. I assume he'll only maybe be in there for one episode, but it's such a cool idea that the fact they're able to use John Wesley Shipp, who of course is an actor within the Arrowverse. Like I say, he plays Jay Garrick, and he did play Henry Allen before he was killed off. You know, there's just so much opportunity there, and the fact that they're utilizing that opportunity is brilliant. Also, given the fact that Batwoman is going to be introduced in this crossover, we are also going to be seeing Arkham Asylum. And if you look at this photo here with Melissa Benoist and Ruby Rose, who is of course Supergirl and Batwoman respectively, in the background you can see what looks to be the Arrowverse's version of Arkham Asylum, just based on the gate, you know, in terms of its design, its aesthetic. It looks very, very similar to what a typical Arkham Asylum set would look like. So we can assume that Arkham Asylum is going to be playing some kind of a role here, and we have a little bit more evidence in regards to that. That evidence being Dr. Destiny. We do know that Dr. Destiny is going to be playing a big role within this crossover. We do know that he is going to be a big villain within this. And the character of Dr. Destiny, his general human persona, is actually a doctor within Arkham Asylum. At least he is in the comics anyway. And that seems to be what they're doing with this character in the Arrowverse precipitation. So with that said, we can assume that Arkham Asylum will be in this crossover, and with that, Dr. Destiny will come from that. So that is a really interesting idea. Really fun to see how they're going to introduce Arkham and how they're going to, you know, show it in the Arrowverse, because the Arrowverse in general is a lot more of a lighter tone. You know, it's a lot more Smallville in style than, say, you know, the Dark Knight trilogy or anything like that, or the DCEU. So with that, it'd be interesting to see what kind of light they shed on Arkham. Obviously, Arrow being quite dark in its tone may be able to fit Arkham in a bit more than, say, Flash or Supergirl, but I'm still really excited about that. You know, just bringing in Arkham and all these different Batman elements into the Arrowverse is very exciting for us fans. Also, LaMonica Garrett has been cast as the Monitor, and thanks to Entertainment Weekly, we got our first look at the Monitor, and you can see him here. This is, again, incredibly comic book accurate. This is almost a bit jarring for me to see something like this, because this is so almost intergalactic and so far stretched from what the Arrowverse is normally doing. It's so interesting to see them do this absolute cosmic idea into this crossover, because obviously the Arrowverse is typically kind of grounded, you know, with Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. Even though they are pretty, you know, superhero-esque shows, they've never gone this far before, so this is very exciting for me, and just seeing this is really interesting. I can't wait to see what role he plays. I assume he's going to have a pretty big overseer role, and we have seen a couple of him on the set photos as well, so the fact that they're bringing in the Monitor, LaMonica Garrett looks like a great casting choice, and like I say, his look is brilliant. I love this poster from Entertainment Weekly. I think it looks incredible, and I'm so excited for his introduction as well. Now, recently, for the Elseworlds crossover, filming has recently moved to Chicago, which is very interesting because now it's been confirmed that they have been using Chicago as a double for Gotham City. So it seems like maybe the finale of this is going to take place in Gotham, and with that you can see that Chicago is being used as kind of its body double, if you will. And you can see here they've got like the GCPD cars going around. You can see Wayne Tower, or what they're going to be using as Wayne Tower. That's also really fun. The fact that they're using, again, all these Batman elements, all these Gotham elements, bringing them into the Arrowverse is a lot of fun. And the fact that they're using Chicago is very fun. We did get that tease as well that Stephen Amell posted of him in the Flash costume with Colin Donnell, who of course plays Tommy Merlin on Arrow. Kind of teasing that maybe Tommy Merlin could show up in this crossover. there is a potential. I mean, he was in Crisis on Earth X, so there is a potential, but I think this was more of just Colin Donnell visiting the set, because obviously, if you don't know, Colin Donnell is a series regular on a TV show called Chicago Med, which of course, as you would recognize, takes place in Chicago where they were filming. So I assume it was just a thing that they were in the same place at the same time, and they were able to come together and just, you know, interact for a day or so. I mean, they could have shot a cameo. They very easily could have shot a cameo. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see with that one. I'd love to see Tommy show up again. Obviously, it's always a great moment when Tommy gets to show up. And obviously, this being Elseworlds, they could do that. But I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. Also, Superman is going to be a part of this crossover, which is massive news. You know, we're going to have Tyler Hoechlin returning as Superman. Obviously, he had a very brief appearance on Supergirl. He was in the last episode of Season 2. He was also in the first 2 episodes of Season 2 as well. He's going to be returning for this crossover alongside Lois Lane, who's going to be played by Elizabeth Tulloch, and they are going to be making their first appearance in the Arrowverse as well, which is very fun. And they're going to be interacting with the Flash and Green Arrow, which is something that we've always wanted to see, especially from this version of Superman, because this version of Superman is very popular, I think, and it seems like a lot of people do really enjoy Tyler Hoechlin's portrayal of Superman. Me personally, I love his portrayal. I think it's perfect, so I'm very excited to see him get brought into the Arrowverse. With that, we have also seen set photos of the black suit Superman, which is absolutely insane, because obviously this is another new version of Superman. You know, it's the very same suit that we're used to with the red and blue, but it's completely all blacked out. And this version of Superman looks to be an extremely evil version of Superman, which again is a very fun element to play with. And I'm very excited to see what they do with that. There also seems to be maybe a dark Supergirl going on as well, which is fun. Just so many cool ideas going on with this crossover. And bringing in Superman, bringing in Lois Lane, bringing in the black suit Superman. That is a very, very interesting idea that I can't wait to see what they do with, because there's so much possibility there, especially because there's a photo from the set where it looks like the black suit Superman is doing basically the clap thing, which Supergirl did in Crisis on Earth X, but a very small scale version of it. Seems like maybe this black suit Superman could do a lot more damage with that move than Supergirl did previously. Also, we will be visiting the Kent farm in this crossover. This is the, obviously, Kent farm that obviously you will know from Superman. This is very cool, seeing this being brought in, all of our characters interacting on the Kent farm. Again, just a lot of fan service going on there. This is also the same Kent farm they used on Smallville, so again, a little bit of fan service going on there. That's really fun too. There's just so many cool ideas involving Superman and the Superman mythos in this crossover, and the fact that they're getting that so involved is a bold move, but I love it. And finally, the most recent news we got last night was that Bob Fraser, who you may know from The 100, another CW show, has been officially cast as the character known as Psycho Pirate, and this has got a lot of us very excited, because Psycho Pirate, also mixed that with the Monitor and the relation of the Anti-Monitor, is very well associated with the comic book storyline, of course known as Crisis on Infinite Earths. And this has led a lot of people to speculate that maybe this could be the road to Crisis on Infinite Earths. Not that we're going to be getting Crisis in this crossover necessarily, but we will be getting the setup and the steps taken in order to get towards that, especially because we're heading very quickly towards the, you know, Crisis on the Flash. It seems like we could be getting the first little baby steps towards that, and maybe the next crossover or the next couple of crossovers could lead to and eventually get to Crisis on Infinite Earths, which would be extremely exciting for us fans to see. You know, a TV version of Crisis on Infinite Earths would be something that I think a lot of us would be very excited about. And again, the addition of Psycho Pirate, who is a very cool villain, just only hints towards that even more. Overall, there is just so much stuff going on in this Elseworlds crossover, and it's funny because I was really not looking forward to this crossover. Well, not that I wasn't looking forward to it, but I wasn't super hyped about it, because they kind of announced the Batwoman casting, which really put me off. Then they announced that Legends aren't going to be in it, and I kind of thought, this crossover is going to seem like a bit of a downgrade. It's going to seem like it's a bit lesser than what we got last year, because obviously Crisis on Earth X was so big and it was so well executed. I was a bit worried with Elseworlds, but everything from that point on has just blown me away. Starting with the poster, all the set photos, John Wesley's ship, the Superman stuff, everything about it has just got me even more excited. And I think I'm actually more excited for this crossover than I was for Crisis on Earth X. And I think that this is just going to be so wild. Although it's not going to be as coherent, perhaps, as Crisis on Earth X was, it's still going to be just extremely fun. And what I love about this is that if it is Elseworlds, which it probably will be, then, you know, you know, and what I mean by that is if they are taking Elseworlds literally from the comics, which is, you know, this is just going to be a completely random separate thing, then they can literally do whatever the hell they want. And that is extremely exciting for me. They don't have to stick to continuity, they don't have to line up the shows, they literally can just do whatever they want. If they wanted to kill the Flash in this, they could. If they wanted to kill Oliver Queen, they could. If they wanted to do, you know, literally anything is possible, hence why they're bringing back the 90s Flash. You know, if they wanted to use Tommy Merlin, they could. There's so much opportunity here, and there's just so much, like, fun ideas, and you can just see the writers and the showrunners, this is just like them just in the sandbox having an absolute blast. And, you know, like I say, this is going to be in like the sort of second week of December, so I'm so ready for this now, I'm so hyped, let's just bring it on. So thank you guys for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, it'll help me out a lot, and share this video with anyone and everyone you know who loves DCTV and get them to join the community. And as always guys, please subscribe for all of your latest content on Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Arrow. And with all that said guys, I hope to see you again in my next video.